Hi, I'm Jeffrey, and thanks for taking the time to do a little yoga with me. When I used to teach yoga full-time, I would share one of my mantras with my students. Small steps over time cover great distances. Now, I thought it was pretty clever and insightful, but it's probably subconsciously derived from Lao Tzu's famous aphorism, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step." Regardless, the message is the same. To get anywhere, you need to take the next step. In my classes, I would use this saying to illustrate that your yoga practice is a journey, and that it's okay to be where you are right now, and that over time, your practice will evolve. You'll get stronger and more flexible, and you'll be able to do poses that right now might not seem possible. And I would encourage my students not to get wrapped up in what they can't do right now, but instead accept where they are and enjoy the process as it unfolds over time, step by step. My mantra applies not just to yoga, but to everything in life. I find it particularly useful when I'm faced with some kind of task that I need to do. I'm the kind of person that tends to procrastinate or put things off until the last minute. And I don't think I do it because I'm lazy or irresponsible. I think it's because I get overwhelmed by the enormity of the task, whether it's a big project at work or filing my taxes, or even something as simple as doing laundry or clearing dishes from the sink. I don't even want to get started because feels like it's an enormous amount of effort just to do the thing, even when it's something as simple as clearing the dishwasher. In the book Getting Things Done by David Allen, he talks about the importance of defining the next action for any project that you've committed to. He defines the next action as the next physical, visible activity that needs to be engaged in order to move the current reality of this thing toward completion. Basically, what's the next step you need to take to get something done? Jay Shetty goes even further in his podcast On Purpose when he says, step number one is to lower the bar. He says that the problem isn't doing the thing, it's starting the thing. He recommends to set the smallest possible action step so small that it feels ridiculous not to do it. So if you think about all the things you need to do to file your taxes, like downloading your W-2s and gathering your expenses and putting together all your bank statements and entering everything into TurboTax or sending everything to your accountant with an email listing everything that you're sending, and you start to get overwhelmed by everything you need to do, just break it down into the smallest possible step you can do to move the needle forward. And so maybe today that's just downloading your W-2s. And then once that task is done, you're one step closer to achieving your goal. Sometimes I'll look at the sink full of dishes and I'll think, I don't have the energy to do all of that right now. I have to clear the dishwasher, and I have to move the dirty dishes into the dishwasher, and I have to soak the pots and pans, and I have to scrub them, and then it just feels like it's too much. And so I'll make a deal with myself. I'll think, okay, what's the next step that I need to do? And I'll say, okay, let me just clear the dishwasher. And if that feels like that's too much, then okay, let me just clear the top rack. I'll just put the glasses away. And I find that once I do that, I'm usually motivated to clear the bottom rack as well. And then once the dishwasher is clear, I feel like, well, I'm already here. Let me put the dirty dishes from the sink into the dishwasher. But I can stop at any point, right? As long as I move forward, I make one step forward, then I'm okay with that. I've had to use this process for creating new videos for this channel. When I first started, I was excited by the creative process of making my own music for the videos and putting together the sequences and filming the sequences from different angles and editing it all together. And it was all fun and exciting. But after I created a few of the videos, I started to get overwhelmed by the amount of work it takes to actually create these videos. I started to get into my head about how much work there was, and I started to put things off just because of the enormity of the task. So I decided to break it down into all the steps I need to take to create one of my videos. So decide on a sequence idea, select loops for the track, write out the entire sequence, record the vocals, edit the vocals, film the sequence, edit the video, and so on. And I just kept breaking it down into smaller and smaller steps. So now I know what the next step is I need to take, and I can focus on that. And if that next step seems like it's too much, then I can break that down into smaller steps as well. So maybe instead of writing out the entire sequence, I can just create an outline for the sequence. Maybe that's my next step. And since I've adopted this system, I found it's less overwhelming and way more enjoyable to work on my videos. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, talks about the power of small wins. He recommends spending just 15 minutes on a goal. His philosophy is that 15 minutes of daily progress toward a goal is superior to 3-hour marathon sessions. I use this all the time. Instead of committing myself to creating an entirely new track for one of my videos, which sometimes feels overwhelming, I commit to just playing with new loops in Logic Pro for 15 minutes. Small steps over time cover great distances. And what I typically find is that after 15 minutes, I'm usually in the zone and enjoying myself so much that I don't want to stop. So what small step can you take to achieve one of your goals? Can you take 15 minutes for something that you want to achieve? Whether it's reading a book or learning a new language or clearing out your sink. I hope this way of looking at things helps you as much as it's helped me. I'll see you in the next video.